What's up, you guys? I'm Josh.
I'm Kylie.
And welcome back to Korra Talk. As you can see, Kid is not here today. She cannot make it, but she'll be back next week. But Kylie is here, as she's normally supposed to be, but it looks like she's taking her place because she hasn't been here yet. But she will be in them, usually, with Kid, the three of us, all of us, talking.
About how much we dislike Korra as a character.
Yeah.
I don't even know where to begin. So she's just so mean. Like, she wasn't this mean in book 1. And just everything she does is a horrible decision. And even that she learns that it's a bad decision, but then continues to do bad things and never listen to what anyone else says.
And then, okay, so in this episode, we left off in the last episode with her father saying, what we really need you to do right now is to go talk to the president of Capitol and get them on their side and, like, see if they'll help. And she's like, okay, like, she's so, like, ready to, like, help her dad and, like, all this stuff, and, like, she seems like she's gonna be put on a different path. And
not to mention, like, obviously this didn't happen, but her dad's like, don't do anything rash. She's like, okay. So she, like, threatens to kill the judge the second time, not in front of everyone this time. And just, like, has his head, like, in Naga's mouth, like, oh, my dad.
Yeah,
which is kind of cool. Like, I liked learning about the whole, like...
Yeah, she straight Grand Theft Auto up on Naga, like, crashes his car into the side of a mountain, and then takes him out and puts his head in Naga's mouth.
Literally the opposite of what her dad told her to do.
The first thing that she does before she goes to talk to the president.
It's something rash.
Yeah.
And then she goes and gets him, he's like, oh, I told you not to do anything rash. She's like, I had to, Dad.
Yeah. However,
I'm tired.
Yeah. However, through that act, we do learn that he was working for Unalaq the entire time, and then even all those years previous, Unalaq was the one who got his brother kicked out of the Northern Water Tribe to begin with. So he was shamed for no reason. So it was all Unalaq's ploy to get him out of the picture so that he could be the chief. So so we did get some good information out of it. However, once again, Korra being insane. So she talks to the president, who says no.
No, before that, when they arrived there, and Lynn's like, oh, I see you. I was really excited to see Lynn, by the way, because I love the Toph family.
Yeah.
Airplane's natural enemy.
Yeah.
Yeah, so she's like, oh, I see you started a war, Korra. And she's like, oh, well, it wasn't my fault. I guess all offended. Yeah. And then she's like, oh yeah, let me go like pick a side publicly so everyone can see which side I'm on.
Yeah.
And Mako's like, no, that's a bad idea.
Yeah, maybe
your
you
job
should
is to
see more.
maintain balance. Well, she's like, no, fuck you, Mako.
Which we'll get to that.
Which is kind of a theme
in this episode. Yeah, we'll get to where that all comes to a head in a minute. But first of all, she goes to talk to the president, who says that he is not going to aid the Southern Water Tribe in the invasion.
Reasonably so.
Yeah. And
like, can't just do that. And she's like, well, I'm the Avatar. And he's like, no.
Yeah. And although this isn't really her idea directly, she has some help from Bolin and Varric, But with some help from them, she decides it would be the best idea to go and talk to the army and try to get them to just do it.
Go behind the president's back after he's, like, super reasonable. Like, yo, like, that would be crazy if I just sent all these troops for, like, an internal conflict that's completely, like, unrelated to anything.
Yeah.
She's asking him to pick sides, too, of all things.
Yeah. And he totally goes for it. He's like, I guess we could do a routine, like, procedure over there. And if it's happened to get in our way, then I guess we'll just attack them.
And even the president's like, okay, look, I can't do anything right now, but I can try and find a diplomatic solution. Because obviously the whole point is to not pick sides. Yeah. Because that would just make everything worse. But she can't not do stupid stuff, I guess.
Mm-hmm. So Mako is the one who tips off the president that what Korra's planning to do and talk to the army and try to get them to just go rogue, basically.
Because there's like, by the way, you work for us, you're a cop, you took this oath, you have to tell us the truth about stuff like that.
Yeah, and it makes sense.
And he doesn't want to be responsible for some big thing because he didn't want to rat her out. Yeah. It's not even like a loyalty issue.
Yeah, so Mako tells the president about Korra's plan. Okay, so the president tells Iroh not to do it. He says, if you're planning on doing this, just don't do it. He's very civil about it. He
He's
just says-
super, like, civil about
Yeah.
it. He doesn't make any ruckus besides being like, don't go behind my back.
Yeah. And
Don't
that's-
go start a war without my permission.
Yeah. And that's all it is. And then he says, all right, my hands are tied. Sorry, Korra. Can't do it.
I also didn't really like how, I guess it wasn't just Korra who did this, but she was like the first one. When Mako went to stop like the bomb guys, and they're clearly like triple threat triad people, and
Yeah.
they're obviously wearing like firebender stuff
Yeah.
and firebending.
Mhm.
And he's like, no, I saw the guy, I fought with him, he's a firebender.
Yeah.
And Korra's like, oh, well, it's obviously, is it the North that's attacking the
Yeah,
South?
yeah. It's obviously Northern Water Tribe.
It's like, the North obviously did something. It's like,
no.
no, you don't get it.
That
And no
actually, I
one's
think.
listening.
Yeah.
And I was like, you can't just assume that stuff. Like,
Yeah.
you can't take sides. You're the Avatar. You have to maintain balance without causing a ruckus. And she's like, no, I do what I want.
Yeah. She's just assuming that it's them because she's angry at them. She's like all emotion, no logic, like no. She's not
Because-
thinking at all about anything.
I want to, like, give her the benefit of the doubt almost. Like, I was like, okay, like, Avatar Kyoshi, for example. Like, she was kind of violent. Like,
Yeah.
obviously Aang was the least violent because he's an air nomad.
Yeah.
And I really like that they explored that a lot with Aang.
Mm-hmm.
Like the one with the two tribes that hated each other and had to
Yeah.
cross the valley. Like, that was like a real test of Aang's ability to just maintain peace and not take sides.
Yeah.
But Kyoshi, like in that, for example, that's not like two tribes fighting each other and it's not super personal.
Mhm.
Like that's her protecting her tribe from actually being attacked.
Yeah.
And that's not really the case with what's going on with Korra. So
Mhm.
I think as the Avatar, she has no right to do what she's doing.
Yeah. She confronts Mako in the police station about him tipping off the president, and he admits to it. He says, like, I mean, he's a police officer. He made an oath. He had to do it. Like, that was what was the right thing, which it was.
Mm-hmm.
And they break up. Not before Korra airbend kicks his desks onto the far side of the
In
room.
front of all of his coworkers.
Yeah. And then they break up.
It's always like Mako's like, no, Korra, you need to like do this. I'm just trying to help you be the Avatar. She's
Yeah.
like, oh, why you always have to take other people's sides? He
Yeah.
even said in this episode, he's like, what is it with you and taking sides?
Yeah, it's like she wants to butt heads with something all the time, no matter what it is. She always wants to pick a side, and then the other side is bad always, no matter what. And
Which is funny because she started out like, oh, my uncle is right. Clearly everyone else is being dumb.
yeah,
And then she found out that that was a big fat
Yeah.
lie. And even though everyone told her, he's like, okay, obviously, like, he's evil.
Mhm. She
Like
can switch
cartoon
sides.
logic.
She can switch sides as long as she's fighting another side. She doesn't care.
It just frustrates me because it feels like she didn't learn anything from book one. Like, everything she went through in book one, I just felt like she was so much better executed in book one.
Yeah.
And now in book two, she's just like over the top, type A, stubborn. Just like my way or the highway.
Yeah. I do have to say this is probably my favorite episode of book 2 so far. It just is. I liked it. But I still, Korra, she infuriates me.
And I want to like her so badly because I loved her in book one. Like,
Mhm.
she was actually one of my favorite characters. I really liked how Korra was executed before, and it's just like,
Yeah.
ah.
Tenzin taught his son how to train lemurs, and he became so good that he trained all the lemurs and
Air
had
fleet of
his own
lemurs.
army of lemurs.
Maybe Korra can call the lemur army,
Yeah,
headed by Pokey and Milo.
yeah. That I'd have to say, like, I really liked the Tenzin's story arc in this
Laid
season.
back vacation Tenzin.
Up to this point. I thought this was the one that seemed kind of tacked on.
I liked it, but yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
it was unnecessary. But
Yeah.
just because I love watching Tenzin's family,
Yeah.
and Tenzin is such a big dork.
Yeah.
Like, he's one of my favorite characters.
He totally is.
I'm
He's
not
like
sensitive.
he's like a dad. He's like
He
the
is,
dad.
like an
character.
actual dad.
Like he is a dad, but he acts like a dad.
I really hope they build on Shinora's arc.
Mm.
Because remember how she, like, encountered the spirit thing with the statue room?
Yeah, yeah. I was
And
wondering about
Shinora's,
that
like,
actually.
I've always liked her a lot as one of, like, the air babies.
Yeah.
Because, I don't know, she's, like, studious and nice. And
Mhm.
I really hope they build on that.
Yeah, I was wondering about that actually. I'm sure it'll come up. I'm sure they wouldn't just put that in just to abandon. And I'm also hoping that Tenzin eventually makes his way back to the rest of the characters.
I feel like he must.
Yeah, because I think I'm ready for, at this point, after seeing this episode, for him to start getting back into the action of it.
I also remember this episode, I remember General Iroh mentioning his mother and grandmother.
Uh-huh.
And he was saying something about like how they could help Korra. And in the like trailer things for this book, remember there's that lady that kind of looked like an old Azula? It's like, I really want to see Iroh's relatives, because he mentioned them, so I can't imagine them not coming and like making an appearance.
Alright, so that's it for our Korra spoiler talk. Join us next week. We're going to be talking about the next episode.
More crap talk about Korra.
Yeah, basically, we'll see if Korra can get her act together, or if she'll
The
still
only
be a crazy
redeeming thing
person.
she did was like apologize to her parents.
Yeah.
So hopefully she redeems herself.
Yeah, we'll see what happens. So, like this video if you liked it. Leave in the comments what you thought about this episode of Legend of Korra. And you can subscribe to see more, including our Korra talk for next week. I'm Josh.
I'm Kylie.
We'll see you next time.